have one question for you. Ain't the Lord good? Ain't the Lord good? Amen, sister. I want to hear that. Amen. What time is it? It's video o'clock. Did you guys hear that? It's Sunday and it's video o'clock. Thank you and welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bracing me with your presence. So we are back with another video. You guys are amazing, okay? So I just want to say thank you for 600 plus subscribers. Thank you for my old subscribers. Thank you for my new subscribers. I hope that you guys enjoy your stay in my channel and stay loyal forever. I aim to please. Okay? Anyway, so today I just want to say that, you know what? The Lord is good. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. So basically this is like a testimony of what happened to me a couple of years ago. And from that experience, I got to really experience the power of God through that experience. So let's not waste much time and just get right into it. So a couple of years ago in 2009, I was now having like a spiritual awakening. So I went to a boarding school where there was always like some scares about Satanism, mainly about Satanism. So we kind of lived in fear. When you were in that school and you were in hostel, you lived in fear because there was always a story about so and so is a devil worshipper, so and so is a Satanist, and all of that. I mean, I've never had to experience any of that directly, but I would hear stories from other students in that boarding school and from my friends and all of that. So I don't know how true any of this is, but I remember that at that time I was super scared, and that's when I had to kind of find my own relationship with God to kind of protect me from what was going on around me. So that's when I started really becoming very serious about church and becoming very serious about having a relationship with God. And also because in boarding school you are forced to go to church on Sunday. But I basically like became very serious about my relationship with God from that point, because mainly motivated by fear. So I came home over the holidays, and when I was home, my cousin told me about a church that basically is the same kind of church that I was attending when I was in boarding school. So, and my friend, like my best friend in high school, was also part of that church. So I was like, yay, my cousin is going to the same church, we can do this. So I wanted to go with my cousin. So my cousin invited me, told me the plan. So the church is in a different village from where my parents' house is. So there are no taxis to go straight there. You have to go to town and then to the place. But now that means it's a whole lot of money. So my cousin had a different plan. She used to hitchhike to get to church. So that's exactly what we were going to do on that Sunday. So I told my parents that this is what I'm planning to do. I'm going to church tomorrow. And that's where it became a very difficult conversation to have, because now my dad didn't understand, because I am going to a different church and we have like a home traditional church that I grew up in, but basically no one in the house was going to that church. So it was me finding my own spiritual journey, and I just wanted everyone to respect that. So so he just couldn't understand that. And I mean, I was very adamant that I'm going, because I'm very strong-willed, and I mean, obviously sometimes it's not a good thing, especially when it's coming from a very disrespectful place, and sometimes it's a really good thing when it's coming from a good place. So anyway, the following morning I took a bath. I cleaned first, because at home it's very mandatory, like if you are going somewhere in the morning, then you need to clean first. So I cleaned my part of the house, and then I got ready to go to church. And even that morning, my dad was still just like, no, I just don't understand this whole thing. But Lorato being Lorato, she was gonna go anyway. So the reason why he was even like unsure about this whole thing is because I needed money from him. Because even when you hitchhike, you still need to pay the person who is giving you a lift. So he was just like, no, Lorato, I'm just not sure about this whole thing. So I'm like, okay, if that's the case, I'm still going. So I left without the money, which was actually not a very smart move when I think about it. But anyway, when I was outside the yard, my dad called me and gave me 20 rands. For going to that place, that's a lot of money. So I was very grateful and I felt a little bit supported. He gave me the money and I left with my cousin and we hitchhiked with her friends, and we got one car that was so that the woman who was driving the car, she absolutely did not want to give us a lift. Absolutely not. Like, no, 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 no. However, we were going to that church whether she likes it or not. So we pretty much forced her to give us a lift, right? So we got into the car and we left. And when we were on the road, the worst happened. The worst happened. When we were on the road, we approached like a bridge that is also on a curve. And the lady, she moved off her own lane on the left, and somehow she was going towards the right. And boom! We jumped over the bridge. We jumped over the bridge, guys. We jumped over the bridge. Did we not pray? Did we not pray? My cousin, myself, and her friend. So there was, okay, so it was my cousin, myself, her two friends, and the driver. So there was 5 of us. My cousin, so the driver was obviously in front. Then next to her was my cousin's friend, and the 3 of us, me, my cousin, and her other friend, were at the back. So now we are in this car, it's going through the trees. So it jumped off the bridge, but luckily it didn't actually like jump and just fall straight down. It went down the bridge. Ah, thank the Lord. And then we were going through the trees and whatnot, and banging against each other. You know, we were holding on to our dear lives and all of that. But in the midst of all of that, I remember distinctively how much we prayed. Guys, we prayed. We prayed. You know, I had my cousin praying and I joined her in that prayer. Her friend joined us in that prayer. We prayed our lungs out. Yo, I've never prayed like that. We prayed until the car stopped. And when the car stopped, there was like, what is it? What do you call this thing? Steam or whatever. I don't even remember the name. But it was coming out of the bonnet. And we were obviously scared because we thought that there was, smoke coming out of the bonnet. So we thought that the car was burning. So now when the car was doing that, it locked itself at the back. So my cousin's friend, immediately when the car stopped, she somehow got out of the car and was on top of the road. Like, I was looking at this girl at the top there. I don't even understand how she got there. She was wearing stilettos. Do you understand what adrenaline can do, man? So with her adrenaline, she somehow got up on top of the bridge. Don't ask me how. I don't know. And then the 3 of us were trapped inside the car. And there is smoke in front. What are you thinking at that point? I got out of that bag through. Guys, I'm tall, so you could imagine if you are in a sedan, that to get to the front is a lot of work. And no one was opening the doors because the woman who was driving the car was busy with her car, checking the engine and all of that, and she didn't have time to come and see what's going on at the back. Yo, I got out of that car, hey? I got out of that car. Come high water, highway born. I got out of that car. And to say the least, none of us was injured except for one of the girls. So when we were falling, like when the car turned this way, because it didn't roll, but like it was kind of what is it, skewing to the right and then to the left, that sort of a thing. So when he did this, me and my cousin, we both fell on her, and because we both fell on her, she hit her head against the door. So she was the only one who was like sort of injured, but like not blood injured, just like a really heavy headache. But knowing me again, that day I said I was going to church, so that's exactly what I was gonna do. So all of us, we all went to church. Still, after all of that had happened, we all went to church, and we were safe. We went to church. Some of us, we had like trees and leaves in our mouths. My hair was so oily, it was so messed up with trees on it, but we still made it to church. So I think this for me was a testimony that when God says no to you dying, you are not gonna die. When God will fight for you. I feel like when you pray like a fervent prayer to the Lord, when you are in trouble or for any matter, anyway, I really just believe that God listens. And on that day, he proved to me what listening means. I saw God in action. I saw God making sure that that car does not roll off the bridge, but it rather drives down the bridge. I saw God making sure that, the car stops because the lady had lost control of the car. And it turned out after that that she doesn't actually have a license. So I saw all of this. I saw God acting, okay? And I saw us coming out of a car that just went through such a horrendous experience scot-free. No injuries, nothing whatsoever. Perfectly fine. So after this accident, I really think that maybe we were supposed to go see a doctor, which we didn't. But I'm realizing that like every once in a while, the joint of my hand becomes very painful. And this has been happening for over the years. And I've never actually went to ask for help from the clinic or from the doctors or anything like that. But I really think that that might have been the problem, and I probably have to check it out. But the main reason why I'm even making this video is just to show you that like with prayer, anything is possible. I really believe so much in prayer that when you pray and really speak to God about your fears and really cry to him, he's able to come through for you. He's able to do something, like things that no one can do. There are times when the only option that you have is God himself, and you have no other options. There's nothing that you can do, and being in a car accident is one of those things. You don't have any other option. The only option that you really have is prayer, because you cannot get out of the car while it's moving, because then you are basically endangering your life. So the main thing is for you to pray and pray and pray. So I just want to really advise you, or rather encourage you, that whatever you are going through, that you must go down on your knees and pray, because the God of the peace of God that transcends all understanding will guard your heart always. So have an amazing Sunday, and see you in the next video. I love you guys.